Let's read through this problem. Simplify. 2 over x squared minus 9 plus 1 over x plus 3. Some students really make it hard on themselves by just assuming that you build common denominators by taking this part and multiplying top and bottom, and taking this part and multiplying top and bottom over here. That will create a common denominator, but it won't create the least common denominator. For example, let me give you an arithmetic example of what I'm talking about. Suppose you had 1 over 48 plus 1 over 60. Okay, so you could find a common denominator of 60 times 48. It's a very large number. But you could use a common denominator of 60 times 48. Or you could look for the least common denominator, which would happen to be 240. And so 240, you could get that by multiplying top and bottom by 5 over here and 4 over there. And then you would end up with 5 over 240 plus 4 over 240. And that ends up being 9 over 240. And guess what? We're not done yet. There's another twist to this problem, which occasionally happens with algebra problems, is that when you get done, you could still simplify. Because here I see that I can divide everything by 3. So this would be 3 over 80. All right. So anyway, but really the hard way of doing this would be to take and multiply top and bottom by 60 over here and 48 over there. And well, it's not a big deal with a calculator, but it's a big number. I don't know what it is, but it's big enough. And then it's going to take a while to reduce it. So that's the idea here. We want to find the least common denominator, if we can. In other words, keep it as small and simple as we can. Otherwise, with algebra, if you don't find the least common denominator, you could get a real mess that's hard to deal with, hard to simplify. So that's the point I wanted to get across. All right, well, how do we do that? Well, like a lot of things in this chapter, factoring is the key. So your first step should be to factor your denominators if they can be factored. Well, this one can. It's 2 over x plus 3 times x minus 3. And this denominator is 1 over x plus 3. So once we factor it, we see, well, they already have x plus 3 in common. The only thing missing is an x minus 3 on the right-hand fraction. So I'll multiply that in. I don't like to say add x minus 3 to the right side because I'm not adding. I'm multiplying top and bottom. All right, so we end up with what? My denominator is x plus 3, x minus 3. My numerator is going to be 2 plus x minus 3, because remove the parentheses. This time it's a plus, so signs are not changing. And then I get x minus 1. So I have x minus 1 over x plus 3, x minus 3. There we go. So that's done. But again, my other comment is that once in a great while, you'll stumble across one of these problems where you can reduce this fraction. Once you've combined your fractions together, you might be able to reduce what's left. So I think I've got one in my book, and I know the author of the textbook has slipped a few in like that. So be an alert for that.